Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is GregTech New Horizons. So, I finally got enough of the phosphorus together so that I can start this this build. Sorry, maybe not build, as build might not be the right word. I can start this blast furnace recipe. Basically, I'm going to get this thing kicked off, and as you can see here, it's going to take 10 minutes. So while that 10 minutes is going on, I'm going to take a look at these various things that I've got here and take a look at what stuff I can start organizing and figure out what materials I need to either source or find, or whether I've got enough stuff so that we can take a look at getting started with some of these things while at the same time looking at getting these circuits up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this thing off. I'm going to need a screwdriver to start because I've got to flip this guy over to a number 3. And that way when I put in all of those objects, it'll kick off and use them all. And it'll start that 10-minute timer. Maybe. Says it's running fine, but it's not started up. Let's take a look one more time here. 3. Oh, right. I need the nitrogen, and I think it needs 8 nitrogen. So I've got that over here. I even said it needed nitrogen, and I just completely ignored myself. So here we go. There's 8 nitrogen. And we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off, like so. There we go. So with all 8 of that in there, there it goes. Now it's gone and started up. Used up all the nitrogen, and we've got it started for that 10-minute cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. I'm going to do some various looking around, seeing what materials I need, and then once that stuff is ready, we can take a look at what's up next. See you in a bit. Alright, here it goes, and done. So there is our phosphorus doped monosodium or monocrystalline silicon boule. Because that thing has to run at a full amp of HV with like no decrease due to coils or anything, it actually started to drain these 3 batteries back here. They lost about, probably I'd say about 30,000 each. So definitely a high power smelt to get this thing done. Now that I'm looking at stuff, I am going to need quite a bit more iron. The iron my iron is running low. The reason I need all of that iron is because I'm going to need to do another batch of steel if I want to make everything on my list. I have enough of the polyethylene. I have enough of the black steel because I made it specifically. I have enough of the zinc. I need to make some more stainless steel because between these 2 things here, we're going to need a bit more stainless steel. And then most of the rest of this stuff needs aluminum, and I have not gone to see how much aluminum I have left, so I may have to do up a batch of aluminum. I was kind of hoping to wait on needing more aluminum until after I had the next set of coils, which requires not only the clean room to make the clean room to make the circuits. I then have to have the vacuum freezer in order to cool down the ingots that make it. So while it's easy to make the stuff, there's no way to cool it down until after I get far enough along for that. So yeah, it's working through that process. If I want to make the oil rig, which I've never made an oil rig before, that's going to be more steel. And then of course, if I want to be able to make these basic machines in order to get some simple automation up and running, I need yet more steel. And then with these MV different pieces up here, I'm probably also going to need to have some more aluminum smelted up. So I'm going to have to figure out how much of that stuff I need. I'm going to end up making enough iron that I can do a batch of another 10 stacks, 640 steel, just so I have it for when I need to make stuff like black steel, or later on we've got red and blue steel that we can make as well. So yeah, it's going to be a big steel smelt. So that's going to take a lot more time, which is me just basically, I'm probably going to work on my crops. I'm going to work on some bees while I work on those things, because we do have plenty more down the bee tree. I mean, I still need another 140 silky combs, even though this is an optional task. That way I can get to the silky propolis. And then on top of that, if we look at the bee breeding, we've unlocked several different bits and pieces here, but we basically need to get into mixing our magic bees and our common and cultivated bees, and start working on some of these other bees that are help with progression, with getting us unlimited resources for various things. I did make a void upgrade and slapped it onto I slapped it onto the tree farm outside. I was filling up on saplings because I don't have a pyrolyze oven yet to deal with them, and so I just put that on there so that my wood farm would continue to run and provide the spruce logs to, run through the benzene process. And then the only other thing here is just these couple of rewards. I'm going to go with a loot bag rather than 8. Like that's 8 whole plates of polyethylene. That's nothing. And then 16 stainless steel. Meh. This, however, this is where it gets interesting. Do I want to go through the AFK process for all of the silicon? Phosphorus, while lengthy, is easy enough to get because you can get it from apatite and the trichlorophosphate stuff that we have, or tricalcium phosphate. Anyway, so it might either be the silicon, or I might go for the loot bag at some point. But yeah, we are going to basically, I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff that just takes time while I work on things that take a lot of time, such as smelting up 10 stacks of steel and working on all the iron necessary for that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break. It'll probably be a while before I come back. So, you're looking at Minecraft Year 5, Day 29. So we'll see where it is when we get back. Well, a bit of time has passed, and not only did I run some stuff, I ran more stuff through the EBF over there. I had to make another stack of aluminum, and my list has gotten quite a bit shorter. I went ahead and already crafted up both the LV and the MV circuits. I've got them sitting right here. So my stack of MV along with the one I had left over, my little bit of LV that I had left over from making the 2 stacks to make that. So those parts are done. I then went ahead and I started working on, it's missing right here, but it's all the different pieces for the clean room. So right here I have my clean room controller. There's that. I was honestly expecting some fireworks, but I guess not. Okay. And then over here in this guy, I have my 8 filter machine casing. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, those 2 pieces are done. And as you heard the ding, that completes the clean room. I guess it won't complete that just because I already quote unquote completed the quest. So that's all right. So the next thing that I was looking at needing to do is I need to make the emitter and sensor. And for all my trying to work around what limited resources I had, I still ended up painting myself into a corner. So I can put together the clean room and get it up and running, and then I can cut these phosphorus wafers that I couldn't cut earlier because it needs a clean room. The only problem is then if I am going to do this with the precision laser, some of this stuff I also have to do in a clean room. Let's see. Yeah, like this stuff, the LPIC wafers, the integrated circuits I have to do in a clean room. So yeah, a lot of these things all require the clean room. So even though now I could cut that stuff, I need the clean room with an HV precision laser engraver in order to keep making them. And the issue with that is that the precision laser engraver is here after the emitter and sensor. So give me a second. Let me calm the birds down. All right. Well, I just spent a bit of time talking and not recording, kind of explaining what is going on right now. Yeah. So while I was talking, I ended up grabbing some coins and I purchased a set of RAM chips. The whole reason for that is when I was doing my cutting, I made the entire set of 16 as these ILC wafers, forgetting that at the time, I only had 8 of these random access chips, and that would only get me 4 of these HV circuits. Now, the problem with having 4 of them is if I want to do the precision laser engraver by going through the quest line properly, I have to make both an emitter and a sensor, and those two together use 3 circuits, and then it wants another 3 circuits to make the precision laser engraver. And so while I could do that, I figured why go to this effort of doing this stuff? I could just spend a few coins, I'll get myself a little bit more of the random access memory chips, and then I can make the third one, or the 6th circuit I need, as well as the 7th, because it takes 2 each in order to then get ready to make this precision laser engraver. So there's that going on. Some of the stuff that is keeping me slow right now is I only have 1 EBF. I also only have right now the benzene processing automated in order to provide power. So if I want to do more, I either need to like double up on my benzene production, or I need to do something else like diesel and then build a second EBF if I want to speed up that mess, instead of, waiting on 10 stacks of iron and charcoal in some BBFs, have a second EBF that could be up and running. You can see the red blocks there. That's where I intend to put my clean room for right now. And I've been expanding, well, rather clearing out the stuff in order to start expanding the base and get it a little bit bigger, with this being kind of a courtyard area where I can do things. But yeah, at least I've got some LV and some MV chips, so I can start looking at some automation. I'm going to finish up making the rest of these HV chips in order to then make this advanced precision laser engraver so that I can engrave the wafers that I get from cutting that phosphorus doped monosilicon boule. And then that way I can make the rest of these HV chips, and then once I have the HV chips, really crank up some of this stuff. So essentially I want to get through this list before I progress too much farther, but in order to progress farther, I was looking at needing to have that clean room, so at least we have the stuff to begin making the clean room, and then from there we can then look at other things that we're going to do. So yeah, I'm going to get the clean room set up. I've got to make all the different things to power the clean room. And then some of these things also go into making the pyrolyze oven. Not sure if I'll get that going yet or not, but that would be the next thing on the list. And then make that consideration of if we start going down the line of diesel, or the pyrolyze oven helps us with biodiesel, as well as several other byproducts from just processing the rest of trees, and getting us a little further along, because I need to be a little further along before I really want to start getting into things like the implosion compressor, and that's why I'm expanding the base. I want to put the implosion compressor a little ways away, and then we are going to be running into this runaround here in order to get to our next circuit assembler, our next set of circuits, our IV circuits, our initial platinum, because we can't do the plat line just yet, and then getting into these SMD circuits. So yeah, lots of stuff still left for the HV, and then that's just so that we can get over over here and go to the moon. And then once we go to the moon, then we can finally get to titanium, and the titanium will unlock EV for us, and that's where we get into the real platinum processing line, which is a pain, and we need lots of extra processing stuff. So it's going to start being time to set up distillation towers and set up things like that in order to get various chemicals so that we can get ourselves a little bit more automated and a little less relying on running around and sticking stuff in these machines. Titanium, of course, brings with it AE2, so we can start setting up some real automation, pull out this little set of stuff here, and we can set this up as kind of our AE2 area. And then, of course, you know, we can always get into things like witchery and some more of the magic. One of the things I am looking at doing is, as soon as I have enough HV circuits from dealing with this, I want to do the MV mixer so that I can get the vibrant alloy to make vibrant crystals, to upgrade the dark steel armor so that I can go take on the Lich with a decent set of armor instead of you know, my half armor that I've already broken to pieces of and things like that. So yeah, looking forward to getting a little more advanced, getting some automation up and running. I'm trying to do things a little bit differently than I have in the past, where, you know, making use of a pyrolyze oven. I've built one before, but I've never relied on its byproducts. Making the oil drilling rig, particularly because in our journey map we actually have a 729 chunks that give us plain oil that we could certainly make use of. And nothing says we have to stick with the 729, especially since it's near a Thaumcraft obelisk with the crud, I forget what their names are, but they're the cultists that deal with Thaumcraft. We could instead, you know, build a little oil rig, an oil derrick here at 667 and pump it up and in, or we could do a straight line from 729 and bring it up and in. But we could make use of things like the what is it, the fluid. The fluid pipes that allow you to send stuff, and you only have to have the start and end chunk loaded. So yeah, lots of stuff that we can do, a few different things. I'm trying to do different things so it's not the same playthrough as last time. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and we're going to get going on getting the clean room set up, and then looking at making these circuits, and then getting some automation going. So yeah, I will see you guys back here after a while. Alright, it has been a little while, but we're ready for the next step here. I've gone ahead and I've prepped up a sensor and an emitter, and that'll complete the, you're going to hate this, numbers 5 and 6, which is fine with me. And then I've got the stuff to make 2 pistons here. So we'll just go ahead and knock that out real quick. There are the 2 pistons, and then the last thing that'll do is actually craft our advanced precision laser engraver 2. So that's an HV laser engraver. I've gone ahead and set up my clean room. You can see I put in 2 blocks of reinforced glass there. I can see inside. Basically, it's just there so I can make sure that motor is still spinning. I have an HV machine hull leading into it. I've got an MV transformer and then an MV battery buffer with a battery in it, and I did that simply so that if this thing draws so much power trying to do something inside the clean room will still have power and won't immediately cease to function and then cause whatever I was trying to craft to immediately break. So let's go ahead and hop on in. I can then slap this guy down, and if we take a look, my efficiency right now is at 100%, and yeah, should stay that way. There's our nice new advanced precision laser engraver. Here is our nice cutting machine, and so with that I should be able to run out of here, grab that boule, and then bring it back in here, cut it up, and then engrave it the way we need to. basically, I am down to, I've gone ahead and I've decreased these by what I've actually worked on so far. I'm down to 8 integrated logic circuits to make the last 8 LV circuits, and then 104 more of these guys in order to finish out the entire stack of stuff. So there we go. And yeah, once I get another elevator, I may make a second elevator or something, but I'm going to figure out a way so that we can just get in and out without without having to go through that door. I know it doesn't decrease it by a lot if you hit it on the tick or whatever where it checks to see if it's a clean room, but yeah, still I'd rather it just not even have to worry about it. So anyway, let's see here. I have... Where is it? There is our boule right there. And then I'm going to need primarily these logic circuits, but I'm also going to need the RAM circuit. And those, yeah, you can see you get 32 each. So if I do, I think it's 4. Let's see here, 4. Yeah, 4 of those, I'll get 128. I'll have more than enough of the RAM, and then I can just focus on the integrated circuits. So we're going to need one of these, which comes from doing one of these with our green sapphire lens, and then this other one is our ruby lens. So the ruby lens is right here, and then my green sapphire lens is there. And we can hop through, see what this is sitting at. Still at 100%, excellent. So let's go ahead and in our cutting machine, we're just gonna pop this guy in there. And that guy will cut away. So doesn't take too long by the looks of it, so that's good. Yeah, 20 seconds total. Efficiency's at 100%, so we don't have to worry about losing it. And there we go, 32 of those phosphorus doped wafers. And then these guys, if we engrave them with whatever, we actually get out 4 of the processed wafers. So that'll be excellent. All I said I needed was 4 of those for this guy. So we'll let that do its thing. That is kind of slow, but that's all right. And then we'll do a few more for, let's see here. Again, I can just do one of these. Well, they're 8 each. So if I need, let's say 128, and they're 8 each, that's, what is that? That's 8. 8 and 8 is 64. So no, it's 16 of them. And if you get 4 each, I'm going to need 4 of those. So while that thing is running, then we can go ahead and do it. What's nice is that once it's written by the Advanced Precision Laser Engraver, we can just cut them out in the other one rather than worrying about it here. So I can pop those in, and we'll go ahead and oh, it's a good thing I held on to those for a second before that. Imagine not completing that quest because you didn't hang on to it long enough to actually have it count the 32 wafers. That'd be terrible. Have to make a whole second one just for that. But the next thing we have to do is they want us to make one of each of these guys, and so that is a glass lens. No, this is only one of very few lenses, it looks like. Let's double check. Ender eye. Oh, it's just an ender eye lens. So I'm going to have to go get enough ender eyes to cut up and make a plate. And that can be done out there. So yeah, I'm just going to have to make up 9 ender eyes, make a block, cut it into plates, and then run one of those plates through, and we can do the NOR memory. And then this guy, the NAND memory, comes from, oh, that can't be right. Oh, that's an ender pearl lens this time, which is then an ender pearl plate, which is from a stack of ender pearls. I may already have ender pearl plates just because we had done some other stuff previously. Yeah, so Cleanroom is working out nicely, and we'll just let that finish. So, come on. Don't screw this up. There we go. All right, so yeah, that'll be just fine and dandy for us to finish out the rest of that. Once that one is done, the next two things up on my list are the advanced circuit assembler and the mixing machine. Again, so that we can go do something that's not me crafting, we can actually go to the Twilight Forest and take on a lich. And then we can also start looking at some automation. So this video is getting kind of long. I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I'm going to finish making these guys, and then I'm going to set about getting some of the stuff prepped so that we can start some automation. We'll see you guys in the next video. Till then.